If you're doing a bodybuilding, powerlifting or CrossFit type program in hopes to maximize your BJJ performance, you're not doing it right. Hey guys, I'm Leon from Stronger Tomorrow Training, and today we'll be talking about strength and conditioning for BJJ. More specifically, we're going to go through a needs analysis of the sport of BJJ so that we can understand how to better prepare our strength and conditioning training for it. As a disclaimer, I have nothing against powerlifting, bodybuilding or CrossFit, but those training methodologies are meant to maximize performance in those sports, not to maximize BJJ performance. And in order to develop a training program that helps your BJJ performance, we first need to do a needs analysis of the sports. Many of us out here are recreational grapplers who enjoy the occasional competition. We are passionate about the sport and we want to improve. However, most of us also have full-time jobs and other responsibilities to take care of. And at times it's just not possible to spend all our time improving on the mats. BJJ is usually class-based and sometimes you just can't make it for the class. This might be due to your work schedule or maybe the gym is just a bit too far away. And unlike sports like basketball or soccer, where there are soccer courts and basketball courts littered all around where you can go practice shooting your hoops, you can't just practice BJJ. You usually need at least one other partner to spar with or to drill with. However, we don't want to make excuses for ourselves, so another way we can improve outside of the BJJ gym is to incorporate some strength and conditioning training to our routine. Another disclaimer, strength and conditioning is meant to be a supplement to your BJJ game. You cannot replace all your BJJ training with strength and conditioning and expect to be a good grappler. In order to understand how S&C can help improve our jiu-jitsu game, we need to first understand what is the point of strength and conditioning. The aim of S&C is to use exercise prescription to help with injury prevention and to improve performance. We improve our performance by improving several components of athletic performance. This includes many components such as maximal strength, strength endurance, power endurance, muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance, speed, agility. You get the idea. As you can see, there's so many aspects of athletic performance that we can work on. So what are we supposed to focus on? So this is why a needs analysis is really important. By utilizing a needs analysis, we will be better equipped to understand what BJJ requires, and then we can tailor our workouts in order to suit or fit those requirements. Firstly, we have the movement analysis. What are the body and limb movement patterns as well as the muscles that are involved? Secondly, a physiological analysis. What are some of the physiological requirements and priorities of the sport? Is it strength, hypertrophy, power, or endurance? Thirdly, we want to analyze whether there are any other characteristics of the sport that are required. Things like speed, agility, cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, and so on. And lastly, an injury analysis. What are the common sites for injury and what are the usual causative factors of these injuries? So let's go through the movement analysis. BJJ is a sport which requires a lot of dynamic and fluid movements. You require the use of all four limbs and good coordination. You'll be put in various positions such as standing up, sitting down, on your side, on your back, in a turtle, and even posting on your head. And you're expected to generate force and movements from these positions. Thus, the degree of muscular involvement is very high. And you also require a great deal of movement competency, coordination, and flexibility. Next, we have the physiological analysis. What is the most important priority for BJJ? Firstly, it's important to note that BJJ is a sport with weight classes. Thus, relative power and strength is more important than maximal power and strength. Secondly, the length of your matches is also dependent on your belt level. As such, the higher your level, the higher degree of muscular endurance you will probably need. John Danaher also emphasizes in his book, Mastering Jiu-Jitsu, this book over here, that endurance is the most important physical quality a grappler can have. This is more important than strength, size, and flexibility. This is because when two fighters of similar levels clashes together, more often than not, they won't be able to overwhelm each other immediately and quickly. As such, matches are usually drawn out and fighters need the stamina to go the length of the match. So to sum up this part, the most important characteristic a grappler or BJJ athlete can have is endurance, both muscular and cardiovascular. Do note that endurance does not only refer to long distance runs or working out with very light weights. There's components such as strength endurance and power endurance that makes more sense in the realm of Jiu-Jitsu and grappling. Let's talk about the other physical components of the sport. BJJ has 3 distinct phases of combat: standing, clinch, and groundwork. When you're standing, we require speed, explosiveness, and aerobic conditioning. In the clinch, balance, grip strength, and driving power. And on the ground, anaerobic conditioning, strength, flexibility, and grappling endurance. So it's very difficult for us to train all these different aspects of fitness due to limited time, energy, and resources. Thus, periodization is very important. Another good way for you to focus on what you should be training is to understand your style of play. If you're someone like Bernardo Faria who utilizes a heavy half-guard game, you would probably require more strength and endurance. If you're someone like Rafael Mendez, you will need more agility, lateral quickness, and speed. So try to train in a way that complements your style of play. And lastly, we have the injury analysis. In one research study with 121 BJJ participants, it was found that most of the injuries came from the hands and fingers, the feet and toes, and the arms and elbows. Injuries to the upper extremities were more common than those to the lower extremities, although the injuries to the lower extremities showed to be more severe than those of the upper extremities. And in a separate study, it was found that injuries to the shoulders and the knees was the most common type of injury. Also, most novice athletes tend to get injured during training. This was usually due to overtraining or a lack of experience. And for advanced trainees, they usually got injured during competition, where the key mode of injury was due to joint injury. This might be due to submission attempts by the opponents. And lastly, a study showed that BJJ is a sport with a high prevalence of injury. Over 91% of people got injured during training, while 60% of people got injured during competition. Around 66% of people who were injured required treatment, while 50% of those required some form of surgery. Those who required surgery were 6.5 times more likely to consider quitting BJJ, as opposed to those who did not require any treatment or required some other form of treatment. And for those who take more than 4 months absence, they were 5.5 times more likely to consider quitting as compared to those who required less time off. Because it's so easy to get injured in BJJ, if we want to keep up our longevity in our training, we must use S&C to take care of our bodies. So in summary of the needs analysis for BJJ, we need a high degree of movement competency and coordination. We need to know how to move well. We also need to prioritize endurance-based qualities such as power endurance, strength endurance, anaerobic conditioning, and aerobic conditioning. And depending on our style of play, we should be working in some other physical qualities like speed, agility, and so on. And lastly, we need to take note of which muscle groups get injured very easily and make sure we take care of them, whether it's through strength training or making sure we wear the appropriate equipment like finger tapes. And also, we need to know when to tap out early so we can prevent any serious joint injuries from happening, which can make us more likely to consider quitting BJJ. I hope you guys understand the needs of our sport better, and so we can structure our S&C training to fit these requirements better in order to maximize the performance of the sport. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed the video, do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.